Hey everybody, welcome back. So I've been neglecting the star of the show for quite a while, and I know that. But it's been summer, and I've really wanted to focus and concentrate on the cars that I can actually drive, hence Scoops and the 68 Dart GTS, and still pushing forward on getting the 47 Ford on the road yet this year. So hopefully, maybe, but we'll see. It's close. Paintwork is coming next once we finish up the wiring. So I do have that Pontiac coming that I need to do some paint work on. That's probably coming this week, so that's going to delay things, but that's also going to free up some cash. And that's another thing that I've been spending a lot of time doing, is just packing up and selling some parts and things, just trying to increase the cash flow around here so I can continue moving forward on the project. So trying to think of a good way to put together a listing of the parts that I do have for sale so that you guys have first dibs on stuff. So if you got any good ideas, drop that down there in the comment section. And if there's specific things you're looking for, I don't know if I can help you or not, but let me know. I do have quite a bit of stuff around here. Anyway, poor little Stitches has been neglected since we did the subframe connector on the passenger side, and today we're not doing the subframe connector on the driver's side. I have been unearthing and moving and rearranging, but there's still a pile of stuff in the driver's side of the car that I need to find a home for, and I'm probably going to deal with that when Mark comes up and we start doing the organizing and cleaning and some of the shop improvements that we're going to be doing. Anyway, enough of that. So we're going to be on Stitches today, and well, I'll just watch the show intro with you. We'll spend about 25 seconds or 30 seconds doing that, and we'll be right back. I'm Mike, and this is my car's shop.
Working out of a 100-year-old refurbished barn, bringing 35 years of experience to projects considered beyond repair. Vision, creativity, and problem solving are essential tools in this place. Watch as we transform junk into polished metal miracles. This is My Car's Shop.
The channel has grown quite a bit since I worked on this with any serious intent, and I thought it would be good to take 2 minutes and just kind of recap everything we've done on this car up to this point. Everything from basically the rear seat passenger's feet back was junk except for the hump under the back window in here. The frame rails were all shot, the floor pans were shot, the trunk floor shot. It's just all rusted out. Typical of an E-body, the back window rotted out and then allowed water to get in, and it does have the nice factory botanical garden option in the back window here. And I do enjoy sharing this option because not many cars have it. It's a significant value add to the car. But you can see how shot this is, and a lot of this I've cut out now. But you can still see a lot of Swiss cheese. The frame rails in this car are hand fabricated, for those who haven't seen that. There are 50 episodes on the channel covering that. This is the last one that I'm not quite done installing yet. All handmade. Driver's side frame rails handmade as well. You can see from the bottom side what it looks like. Driver's side trunk pan support gas tank strap mount piece was also handmade. So there's been a ton of fabricating, and as you know, that really is the focus of our channel, is hand fabricating, hand building, with no brains and a little bit of skill and a few pieces of equipment, what a person can do and save themselves a ton of money. There's an episode on the channel talking about what I have into this car at this point, including what I paid for it, which is just a couple $1,000s. And that even includes the price of the 440 that I purchased for it many years ago. Didn't purchase it for this, but the 440 that I have to go in here. So yeah, we've got a lot of time in it, and as I said, there are about 50 episodes. There's a playlist on this car if you want to see it from day one when I'm first starting to uncave the roof from being caved in when it was in the junkyard pile. So again, a recap for those who haven't seen it and a review for those who have been with me through this whole process, and there's been quite a few of you. But I know you've been anxious. I know that's why a lot of you are here. I know that this is the star of the show right here, why a lot of you are here. So without further ado, I bring you Stitches. One thing that we do here is try to repurpose parts, and I did have a rear floor pan section out of another car that I did a hybrid of and used some of the old floor pan here and patched up some of it up here, and some of this is going to get cut out when we install it, and it's already fit to go in the car. And then everything over here has been handmade to fit the car, and this is fairly close to being ready. I do need to put a seat mount in. But let's stick this in the car just so you can see that, and then we'll get into today's project. So you can kind of sort of see what's going on here and how that fits and so forth. And of course we have more to do, but I'm waiting to do this subframe connector on this side, and there's a big pile of poo in the way. We'll get it out of there, but I've got to haul a lot of it upstairs into a special designated area. All right, so today's project. So one of the things, if you've been around the channel, that you know is I'm cheap. I don't believe in buying something I don't need to buy. I have no problem reusing a floor pan out of another car if it's in decent shape. I have no problem fabricating parts to make it work. And one of the things that I want to do is continue using this piece of floor pan that we cut the piece that I just showed you off of. And this is the foot pan, this is under the rear seat. And today we want to separate these two and break this into two separate projects. The rear seat pan, getting this in the car, it needs to be cut off in here and around over here somewhere. And then of course there's some fabricating to do over here. And we'll set this part aside for another time. One thing I have here is a very nice template for making another floor pan just like this. And real easy to do. I have the bead roller, I have the sheet metal, and it won't be perfect, but remember that we're not making an all original, numbers matching, original air in the spare kind of car here. This car is called Stitches for a reason. Partly because you've seen me end up going to the hospital and getting stitches while I've worked on it. But that's not the reason it's called Stitches. It's because we're literally stitching this thing together.
Welcome to my Frankenstein.
There are a number of ways we could separate this, and quite frankly, for what I'm doing here, I'm not concerned about drilling out each of these spot welds with the spot weld drill. I think I'm probably just going to take the plasma cutter and go So now that we've got most of the spot welds cut out, I'm sure I've missed some, but we're going to use the pneumatic thunder here to start separating all of this. I can already see a spot here that I missed, but that won't matter. And just start bringing this apart, separating these two pieces. Definitely going to have to run the plasma cutter right there some more, but we'll go on down this way first and see how we're doing. So we're making pretty good progress. Sorry about the air compressor, but I'm using a ton of air. Just want to flip it over and see if there's some spot welds from the other side that I missed. It's getting there. I know it's caught down here a little bit, and I just feel like maybe getting it over on the other side, I'll see some stuff that I'm not seeing here. Like this, the frame piece. Didn't think about that, so I need to that out of there. Okay, so the one shall become two. It's backwards. Floor pan, good template. Got a little cleanup stuff to do, but I'm going to leave this aside for now, and we're going to focus on this. There's still a ton of cleanup to do to get this down to a point where I can start looking at what it's going to take to fabricate the pieces that are missing and get all of this cut and fit and, well, just stuff. There's just stuff. Most of the cleanup work on this is going to be on the reverse side because we still have the spring mount and piece of the frame rail and the center hump seat belt mount and other stuff. So I really need to go in the car and determine what's there that's reusable and then where we need to start making our splits and cuts in this to get it in the car. So I'll speculate and then we'll see, but I like to have a good handle on it in my mind. I think we can, probably in here somewhere is where we're going to need to cut this across. I don't know if this is in there, so we got to either go over this or under this. I'm hoping it's in there and we can just do like the other side. We'll come across here, probably up into here, across, and cut that off. We don't need any of this, okay, because this is all good in the car as far as I remember. And so we'll need this piece and across, and then of course there's some stuff missing over here and we need to make this part. Maybe we will cut this off and make this part because this is kind of crappy anyway. So let's go over to the car. So the good news is I really only need over in here, so I'll cut it up into the hump. That'll need to be trimmed down more like we did the other side, but and then come across here up a ways. I'll probably just take it off straight across, and maybe we'll leave this, maybe we won't. It's pretty rusty. I think I'll probably just replace that, and then I can come down. We'll just cut it across in here and then just up the side of the frame rail, and this will be the piece that goes in here. And then what's over here, I think I'm just going to patch it in the car. I don't think I need to remake that. I think I can just cut some patches, or maybe I will need to remake it. We'll determine that when we get there, but I think our first step is to get this trimmed out and sort of ready to put into the car here. So I've come along and just kind of given me a rough guide on where I want to cut things, kind of like this to start, and then maybe down here. It's a little bigger than it needs to be, but you always want to cut bigger and then cut down to fit, because I still need to trim in there. And well, that's another thing, but right now today is just getting this piece basically cleaned up and ready and starting to whittle it down to a piece that we want to use. Across like that. When we get over in here, we'll see. I'm learning the plasma cutter is getting old, and when the compressor gets down low to where it starts to kick in, it stops working. So yeah, it's better than the one that I didn't have before. So it's getting old, but not gonna go ahead and replace it right now. I think we'll just keep fussing around with it and making it work. And it's funny because I'm not getting a low pressure warning, but I think it's probably 30 plus years old. All right, so I think we pretty well got it broken loose all the way around. Now all we need to do is get it off of the seat belt hoop. There's probably a spot weld or 3. Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple right there maybe. So I think we'll just take the air chisel and just blow that out of there. And hopefully that will break it all loose, because I think that's all that's left holding this. Yep, we're in good shape. So obviously we're being held out because of this back seat mount that needs to go back in. So I think I'll take a second and just trim that out of there so we can just get a quick rough test fit like this one is, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, looking good. There was obviously a lot of trimming and so forth to do yet, but it's a big step forward. So yeah, and I think I think that's the best way to go here, is to trim that other seat mount out and then go from there. So we'll just that out like that. It won't take but a second. Ouch. Okay, so we got that kind of cut out of there. One thing that's getting in the way here also is this seat belt, or the front seat mount, that needs to be knocked out of there. So it's not going to fit in here exactly right, but you kind of get the idea as it falls into place here where it goes. I did bend things up over here a little bit, and it'll pull right down in place nicely. We got a trim. This needs to go back down here more. It's up quite a bit, but that's all to be expected. The back should be down in there, and like I said, the front is being held up partly by this seat mount. So we'll have to do a little massaging to get it in there, but it's a big step forward. Let's get you around over here so you can kind of see where we're at.
So picture, if you will, of the floor pan being cut better to fit, like the one on that side, and then being dropped down into place. We're in good shape. I'm pretty happy with the way it's looking. I know it needs a bunch of trimming and other things, but overall, yeah, you can see how it's going to drop down into place once it's trimmed properly, because it certainly needs a lot of trimming back to drop down in there.
So the next step on the floor pan is to get it trimmed to fit a little bit better. Not sure when I'll get back to that, because I do want to continue getting the car cleaned out and get on doing the subframe connector on the other side. But this was a project that I felt was not overwhelming. I knew it was going to take quite a bit of time. I've spent several hours cutting those floor pan pieces apart and getting things cleaned up and ready to put in the car, so that we can start the what little fabricating and fitting that we need to do. This is all part of it, and here in this channel we share the details. At some point I'm thinking when this car is further along, we may go back and do a time lapse, like an hour-long video from hauling it out of the field where I got it to popping the roof back out and all of the heat shrinking, and then cleaning it out and fixing the frame and rebuilding frames when Becky and I were doing the edge tipping on the bead roller, and just kind of do a progress video that way, so you can just get a picture of the magnitude of everything that we've accomplished on this car in a little over a year that we've been working on it, just off and on. And that's the thing about these projects. If you're not in a hurry, I think most people get a car and their idea is, man, I'll have this together in 3 months and I'm going to be out ripping up and down the roads with it. And you're kind of setting yourself up for frustration and failure until you don't touch it at all and you don't do anything. We have 9 or 10 cars here at the shop, and I just keep chipping away and chipping away and chipping away a few hours every week on something. Working with you guys like we are here on the channel, putting out videos 3 times a week helps keep me doing that. And I'm also just one little bite, one little bite, one little bite. And before you know it, all of a sudden you've got a huge amount accomplished. So once the subframe connector's in, we're going to put the rear end back under the car. There's a little bit of welding to do on the back end to finish it up, but we'll get this car back on the ground, get it shoved out of here, maybe take it outside for some photos. Then we're going to pull the motor and get it ready to put on the rotisserie. So that should be coming hopefully soon. My energy's building back up. If you've watched the last couple episodes on Scoop, I've talked about how I've been struggling because life has just been so chaotic. I feel like I'm getting back in the groove again here now, so there should be a lot of progress coming on Stitches. All right, guys, that's going to do it. I appreciate you being here. If you haven't subscribed, please do. You know the routine. Hit the bell so you receive notifications. Let's do this too. I'd ask you a question. Drop a comment down there about how you get over burnout and how you continue moving forward on your projects when you get discouraged and just want to push them out in the backyard, or push them out behind the barn, or push them into the ditch, or throw in a match, or whatever it is you feel like doing when you feel like I'm never going to get this dumb thing done. Tell me your experiences and stories. How do you get back at it? How do you keep going? Because that will encourage me as well. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram /MyCarsShop. That'll do it. One more thing. It's important. Rock!